Hello everyone, Lance's Mechanist here, bringing you another World of Warships Legends update. Today is update day, and we are now looking at some of the carrier reworks. I'm just throwing this one here out as an example. This is the USS Langley, the Tier 3 American carrier. Literally the first carrier I ever unlocked. But yeah, if you're going to look at the differences for the carriers, this is the only tab you really need to worry about, aircraft, because that is what they changed. They added, for example, they reduced the hit points of the individual aircraft and the squadrons a little bit. They let's see. They added more aircraft on deck for the carrier. They reduced the restoration time. They shortened the restoration time. Restoration time used to be 55 seconds for the dive bombers and 59 seconds for the torpedo bombers. It is now 36 seconds for dive bombers and 40 seconds for torpedo bombers. That is a reduction of 19 seconds per type. Another thing was that the max speed was increased. It used to be 134 for dive bombers, 126 for torpedo bombers. It is now 148 for dive bombers, an increase of 14, and 136, an increase of 10 for the torpedo bombers. Let's see. The next thing was, of course, the fuel. The range on the dive bombers is 31 kilometers. Torpedo bombers is 29 kilometers. But depending on the map you're on, you're going to see that is either a factor or it's not going to be a factor. For this purposes, here's what it looked like beforehand. You had 10 of each aircraft starting off. And this is what it looked like. This is what the heads-up display or the launch cam looked like beforehand. You see you have an engine temperature gauge on the left. You have the old detected ribbons on the upper right. You also have an engine cool-down consumable on the in the center left hand. Still able to dev strike an Izakaze. These ships are all static targets just for pure experimental purposes for the training. But the engine cools down the engine. The right side of the heads-up display is your attack timer, dropping, this is the dive bombers, dropping both bombs. 2 hits, still get a fire. And this is what it looks like now. So, pretty much, you start off with, you got 12 aircraft on deck now. You can launch up, you have 9 at the ready at the moment. This is going to start where the timer it's basically you're pulling the aircraft up from the hangar deck, putting them on the flight deck at the moment. You still have full squadrons of 6. We're going to take off with the torpedo bombers first here. And let's see, as you can see, it drops down to 3. That timer kicks in, and in about 40 seconds, we're going to be up to 4 aircraft. So they're pulling aircraft up from the hangar deck and putting them on the flight deck. Now, the changes you'll notice is that the left side is no longer an engine temperature gauge. It is actually a throttle gauge. It illuminates based on how much you are speeding up or slowing down. If you're slowing down, the illuminated bar will drop. If you're speeding up, it will light up. Second is that there is no longer an engine consumable, so your aircraft no longer have a consumable. The third is that, of course, you see the speed is increased. Actually, if you take your finger off of the control stick, the fighter will actually by default begin slowing back down to cruising speed. But the biggest change, of course, is the little fuel icon below the plane icon showing you how much fuel you've got left, what your remaining range is, and what your speed is. And when that icon drops to, when that fuel icon drops, and it's color-coded, green, yellow, and red, But when it reaches 0 on the fuel, that means that you are automatically sent back to the carrier. It is no longer just hovering above the target, keeping it spotted. Well, they changed the spotting anyway. But yeah, kind of a rush drop here, and you're going to see that because I completely missed with both torpedoes. Now we got the dive bombers going up. As you can see now, we've got, let's see, we're up to 5 torpedo planes. And we've already got, they've already dragged 2 more dive bombers up out of the hangar deck. So now we've got a full squadron. Now we've got a full squadron of both torpedo and dive bombers at the ready and ready to engage the enemy again. Let's see, I am moving the carrier forward to, shorten the time it takes to get to combat. That way I've got more time to drop my payloads. Now, this might bite anyone in the butt if they're not aware of the if they're not aware of their surroundings, because yeah, generally once a carrier is spotted, the entire enemy team looks at the carrier like the Eye of Sauron and like, you will die. Yeah. But we're gonna go another bomb drop on this Isakaze. This one turns out to be real nasty, and I'll show you, and I'll go through the numbers with you now. So let's see. Okay, so originally we dropped 2 bombs. We now drop 3 of each plane. So 3 of each plane. So that's a total of 6 bombs. Used to, the damage done by the HE bombs was 10,562. That was my personal one because I did have a couple of perks boosting the plane damage and whatnot. If both bombs hit on target, 10,562 doubled is 21,124. And we got all 6 bombs to hit that battleship and remove the last bit of its health. Here's why. Because the new damage, the new HE damage is 4,246. That is, again, my personal one because I got a perk on there. Because I got inspiration from my commander who boosts plane damage. And the fire setting chance is reduced from 49% to 30%, a reduction of 19%. The damage per bomb is reduced, but you're now dropping 3 bombs. So take 4,246 and triple that. You will get 12,738 damage, and you're in 2 flights of 2. Remember, so that's 6 bombs. So take 12,738 and double that. If all 6 bombs hit the target, you will be dealing 25,476 potential damage. That is nutty. But of course, if I'm wrong and 4,246 is the total, is like the complete damage done, then basically all that math was for nothing. And I've succeeded in scaring you. But remember I destroyed an Isakaze in 2 torpedoes. Yeah, they didn't do anything to the torpedo bombers. It was all HE bombs this time around. My original damage for torpedo bomber was 6,244. It's unchanged, 6,244. I was still able to delete that Isakaze with 2 torpedoes. And now that I'm in the middle of the map, I am spotted by the ships, but I'm now able to get all 3 attack runs off. and we don't get a flood there. So that when that target lives to fight it, lives for another minute. Yeah, like I said, but the numbers I came up with, that is, if the 4,246 was per bomb, and I multiplied that times 3, and then I doubled that to get that number there. But if that is for all 3 bombs, you're just looking at 8,492 for both aircraft if all 6 bombs hit, which actually is less. Which actually is less than the number if than the previous. It's all in a matter of perspective, I suppose. But still, get 5 out of 6 bombs, get 2 citadels, and you see that, the health of that cruiser just vanish. It's kind of hard to wonder, like, did they actually reduce the damage, or did they just, a little bait and switch there? They say they lessen the damage, but they increase the bomb amount, and the bomb does the lesser amount of damage, but the total winds up being greater than it originally was. But going to go ahead and finish off this Kumo with a torpedo strike. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm going to be doing more videos on the comparisons between some of the carriers, because remember, the British were the ones who had the carpet bombing skill, and now basically all the bombers drop multiple bombs. So that might be the next one I do, is the tier 3. I think it's the Hermes. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and if you like what you see, punch the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys in the next video.
PlayStation